What up, y'all? And we are live. Let's go. All right, Ma.
All right. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I am Mariela, and I am here with JT and Isaiah for another episode of In the Trenches.
In the trenches.
Yes. Right. So together we are going to dive into a daily dose of sales strategies and motivation. I'll let you here give it to
hand it off to us.
Yes.
All right. Well, good morning. Sorry we're running a little bit late. We've had a few technical difficulties over the last 24 hours, but I think we have them figured out. So here we go. So what we wanted to do today in the trenches is we wanted to talk about the sales process. And we wanted to go through kind of the basic 5 or 6 steps, have a general discussion about that. And then as we move forward over the next week or two, whatever it takes, we're going to kind of dissect and go into those steps individually so we get a better understanding of it and to help you get a better understanding of it. Now, at any time, if you're watching this video, either live or after, feel free to add something in the comments. Once we see them, we'll give a little feedback. We'll answer some questions. If you have any advice and say, hey, that's not quite right, help us out. We're learning too. Right?
That's right. So yeah, like JT said, we're going to go through the sales process. We're going to explain each part. So first we're going to start on prospecting. We're going to work our way down. And then I'm going to explain a little bit about the front end of the sales process and the back end of the sales process when specifically going door to door. So when JT comes around the corner here, he'll start on the prospecting part of the sales process.
Yeah, so what we have up here right now, we've got prospecting, qualifying, needs assessment, presenting, handling objections, and closing. Now, I was noticing something on here. They got handling objections here towards the end, right? And that's right before closing. It's after you've presented. But as we discussed the other day, you're going to get objections from the very start, from prospecting, potentially all the way through the process. So at a later time, we'll kind of discuss those different type of objections you can have. But for today, we're going to start with prospecting. So when we think of prospecting, Isaiah, what does prospecting mean to you?
Prospecting, what prospecting means to me is whether you're over the phone salesman or door to door, you are looking for candidates that might be in need of your solutions to the problems that you're trying to solve. So I know for JT, he is in the IT space, technology world, trying to solve issues related to that. I am in the window cleaning and pressure washing industry, so I'm trying to solve issues like people's siding being dirty, houses being dirty, windows being dirty, things of that nature. So we're looking for people who, again, might be or are in need of our solutions.
And babe, come on in for a second.
Yes.
What do you think are some ways? Isaiah can write these down if he's got that black pen over there. What are some different? Isaiah mentioned a couple already, but so what were the 2 he mentioned, and what else do we have when it comes to what are vehicles or what are ways to prospect?
Well, number 1, it will be door knocking.
Okay.
Number 2, let me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So door knocking, or the number 2 here is call. I don't know why I get like this on the camera, but it's phone calling.
Phone
right?
calling.
Yes.
So to dive a little deeper into that, when it comes to door knocking, I know something that I do for prospecting when I want to find a good area to knock. I go on Google Earth. I'll look for areas that have a lot of greenery, a lot of areas that have a lot of trees or are next to parks, because that usually means that the houses are dirty, windows may be dirty, siding on houses probably has moss buildup. For JT here, that might be trying to find older businesses that maybe have been around for 50 to 100 years, because that means either they haven't solved maybe some technology issues that need to be solved. So that may be one way that he does his prospecting.
So, and I do the majority of my prospecting over the phone. So like Mariella said, phone cold calls, right? Everyone's favorite phone call from a salesman. Another way, you have another way you can prospect?
Emails?
Email prospecting is huge, right?
How about social media?
Social media is good as well. Yeah. Internet, right? Your website. Technically, that's using search engine optimization. You are, whether it's Google Business or your website, whatever it may be, that's a way of prospecting. What are those couple of those platforms? Shoot. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, let's see. So we've got email, social media, door knocking, over the phone,
networking events.
Networking.
One of the ones for us is the Chamber of Commerce. Right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And basically, that's where all of your community's local businessmen and businesswomen come together. You introduce yourself, you meet new people, and sometimes that will get you potential clients for your own business, but also partnerships.
Yeah, so networking. The other one would be building a referral partner base, right? You've got other people doing your prospecting for you. They are whether they're related to your industry or outside of your industry. They're talking to folks. So if Isaiah had people who do landscaping, maybe he had some landscapers who were in his referral partner base. They'd be able to do some prospecting while they're either cutting the grass, doing the yard work, maybe doing the actual landscaping. Hey, listen, I've got a guy who does great power washing. I got a guy who makes the windows shine better than anybody else in the world. They can refer him stuff. So that's another way to prospect.
And that is true because a very good friend of mine runs a roofing company. And to JT's point, I had actually had someone who needed some roofing work done or wanted it. So I had given my client my buddy's number. And they have been talking now, I know, for about a week. And before that, he had sent me actually a referral for someone who wanted window washing, which actually did turn into a client, which was pretty cool. So that is another great way.
All right, so get referral partner up there.
I'm move out of the way here.
All right. Need a bigger studio.
Yes.
All right. So some ways that you can prospect. We'll go into that a little bit deeper. We'll probably we'll definitely talk more detail, share a little more insight of how we're currently doing it. And love to hear some of you guys out there. Give us some feedback. Is there anything that we missed here? Is there something you're doing that we don't even know about? That would be awesome to know. All right. So next stage is qualifying. And I was thinking about this too, right? This is probably going to be a little bit, it should be interesting to hear kind of the door-to-door perspective where you're hitting the door, you're kind of already qualified people, right?
Correct.
Because
I would say when it comes to door-to-door and what I do, everybody's qualified. I guess if you were to look at that a little deeper, there's certain homes that I don't knock and certain homes that I do knock.
What would be an example of what you wouldn't knock?
Well, to put it pretty bluntly to you, I would not knock very poor areas. I would not knock areas where I know people do not have money, where money is not available. When I go out door knocking, I'm looking for the richest people. I'm looking for people in the middle to upper class that I know when I go and knock, they're not going to mind spending $200, $300, $400 on services that I can provide them.
Well, probably, the nicer the neighborhood, a lot of times the more maintained the houses
Correct.
are. So
Correct.
You're definitely improving your chances by going to, like you said, that mid to upper mid to high end neighborhood.
Correct.
Because those, just it is what it is. So that's cool. And for me, when I'm doing my prospecting, yeah, I'm using a pitch. I'm saying, hey, these are some of the problems that we solve. Is there anything there that you guys have? And listening for, that feedback. Have you made changes? And I think this is going to be an interesting one because I am a little bit kind of light on the definition or what and how I qualify. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do all these steps is to reinforce our current understanding and knowledge and get better at understanding these steps, right? So the better you understand the steps of any process, the better you're going to perform. So go ahead, come on in.
Yes, so I wanted to add to that, guys, that, when he was discussing Isaiah's prospecting and, how he qualifies people, and everybody's qualified, but, to make it short, he goes to the middle to upper class areas. With Jason, I think that, he concentrates as well on businesses that will have the budget to spend on a new system.
Correct.
Otherwise, you are just,
you're wasting each other's time.
Yes, correct. Yes.
And we're not here to waste time. Again, I think like Mariela said, I think that is a very good point. And JT, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not going after businesses that, maybe make $50,000 to $100,000 a year.
And I'm glad we clarified that, because I would say part of the qualifying of your prospects is done before you even pick up a phone.
That's
or before
right.
you leave the house, right? So for me, I am not prospecting party stores or liquor stores. I am not prospecting oil change places, not because they don't have phone and internet services and computers and need backup, but because they're small.
And they're also probably not using the computer systems or the phones that much. You're also probably looking into companies that are picking up the phones every day.
Yeah,
They're
I guess
using the technology that's in their business every day, day after day.
Exactly. And I know, for me, kind of like you were saying, I know for me, I could probably talk to a bunch of party stores, but they're very small. They have very limited amount of need. So that for me is less bang for my buck, picking up the phone, making that call, meeting with that customer. It's gonna provide a much smaller amount of revenue at the end, a significantly smaller amount of revenue. So focusing on a larger customer, like Isaiah said, somebody who has at least 10 employees that has, at least a few phones and is using their internet on a daily basis, needs to have a good backup because they can't go without, is potentially using some type of data backup already, needing of cybersecurity, those kind of things. Those are the customers I'm looking for. So it's at least 10 and up from there. So that qualifying, that's interesting. Now that we talk about it, you're actually doing qualification before you even go out and do prospecting.
Yep. And then, to that point, you want someone with 10 or more employees. That's where you want to start. For me, that would be, I need at least 10 to 15 windows on the house. 15 to 20 windows on the house. If you don't have 15 to 20 windows, I'm not wasting my time. That's just not what I want to knock in, and it's not what I need to be knocking in. So
what are some things you can write up there, what we just discussed?
I did like what you said. I think we need to say the opposite of it. You said a limited amount of need. What would be the opposite of that? Like having a...
So we're looking for prospects who have, I guess, have a certain level of need that we have kind of already predetermined. They have, a predetermined need. They have a certain level of need. And that could be anything, right? So, when I first started off in this type of sales role, I was doing a door-to-door like Isaiah does to businesses. I would get out on the street and walk 1 mile up the one side, walk 1 mile back. In that mix of businesses, I would have the small, party store, liquor stores. I would have the Coney Islands. I would have the, but then you'd walk into a business that was some type of wholesaler or some type of supply company that would have the 20 people, the bigger sale. And I'd come back, and I was focusing on the smaller sales. And as I've moved my career forward, what I've done is I've increased in size. I've looked for the larger client to provide more services.
Correct, and that is a good point. When it comes to qualifying and prospecting, if you are a first-time salesman, I think we should also make this a point. If you are just starting out, you probably should not go for the biggest possible customers because that is definitely a mistake that I have made, where I went to the richest neighborhoods when I didn't have my pitch down. I didn't know exactly what to say. I couldn't handle objections. And for anyone watching this, you will get destroyed if you go straight to those areas and you try to go to the top of the top. So start off with the smaller houses. I'm learning I should have started off working in houses that had maybe 10 to 15 windows that were a little lower in income areas, and then work my way up. Because as you do that, you learn how to, you can get your pitch off, learn tonality, you learn how to handle objections. So just figured I would make that point there.
Yeah, well, you got to start somewhere, right?
That's right.
All right, let's see here. So qualifying, I think that's going to be good. Again, we're just kind of brainstorming this here. I think we want to get stuff on the board, and then what we're going to do is we'll dive deeper. We'll do, a little bit more thought, put more thought behind it, and really dive deeper into, improving these areas and, like I say, get a better understanding. As far as needs assessment, Isaiah, I'm wondering how you're going to answer this, because I think I got an idea how I would define the needs assessment in my business, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
All right, sweet. I'll do the best I can. So when I look at needs assessment, for me, when I go door to door, that would be me going around the house, taking a look at all the windows, seeing what exactly needs to be done, whether it's window washing, pressure washing, landscape work. I'm assessing the work that needs to be done. And from there, I'm able to determine how much I'm going to price out for the job, and what I'm going to explain to the customer. So let's say I've got a client that I go around the house. Yesterday was a perfect example. One house was not that dirty. The windows had looked like they've been done, the year prior. So as a result of that, that made me not charge as much, because I knew I wasn't going to have to spend as much time doing the job. But the neighbor right next to her, he wanted his windows done, and his windows were very, very dirty. They hadn't been done in a very long time, which caused me to raise up my prices, and it caused me to charge him double. So that's how I would go about assessing. Not every job is going to be the same.
No, and I like what you said. So you're, when you go door to door right now, are you currently leading with the window washing?
I'm currently leading with the window washing.
Do you talk about on that initial pitch power washing, or is that something that may come up later?
I will talk, and I you did ask me that about a week ago, and I started implementing that. So after I run through the window pitch, I also at the end will put in that, hey, you know what? I understand that you're not totally interested in window washing at this current time. It's not something that you want to do, but I also pressure wash and I do a lot of landscape work as well. Would you mind if I took down your number, and I'll send you over my contact info and a digital business card, so that you can see what other extras we are able to provide to you. And most times it works. So I've definitely been getting some numbers, but yes, I do think that if you're like me, you're leading off with window washing, and let's say you're not able to close them on that, if you've got a multitude of services on the side, you should definitely explain that to the customer.
Yeah, and I think, and the reason I asked you that is because if you're leading with the window washing, but you have the power washing in your back pocket, the landscaping work, and kind of the odds and ends kind of stuff that you do, that's an area where, like you said, hey, let me take a walk around, count up the windows. What's the worst that could happen? Let me at least give you a price, an estimate, tell you what it could be. But when you then get the permission to walk around the house and look at things, that gives you an opportunity to also look for the power washing opportunity,
Correct.
Look for the landscaping or odds and ends type possibility or work that you need. It also gives you an opportunity to walk around and think, okay, who are my referral partners that I'd like to get work for?
Yep.
You can come back and say, hey, listen, I got you. Here's the price. You're not looking to get the windows done today. That's fine. I understand. But I did notice X, Y, or Z. I do X, Y, or Z, or I've got a great partner who does X, Y, or Z. And would you be interested in looking at that?
That's another great point as well. Needs assessment also ties into assessing what other work, like you said, needs to be done at the home or at the company. So while you're looking out for yourself and trying to bring business for yourself, you should also be assessing what other work you could bring to like JT said, your referral partners. I've got a buddy who does roofing, and I've also got a buddy who installs seamless gutters. And now that I think about it, there's probably been plenty of houses where that person may have needed new gutters or wanted new gutters, but I'm just not looking at that. So that's another thing I need to assess.
Yeah.
Because again, watch out for yourself and look out for yourself. But also, if you've got referral partners in the business, then you need to be looking out for them as well.
Absolutely. And so for me, a needs assessment comes from typically after that first call. I like to set up an appointment, right? I like to set up an appointment with whether it's 15 minutes or half an hour, depending on the size of the company, depending on what those initial needs are. I'm sitting down, whether it's in person or on the phone or video call, and having a conversation now with the potential client, the prospect, and finding out, diving deeper into what problems they're having, age of their equipment, how they're set up, their network is set up, what type of servers and data, how they're storing it, what compliance standards they may have to meet, any initiatives they have moving forward as far as maybe moving data to the cloud. That's where I'm having that conversation, and I'm really building that needs assessment to get a good understanding of what my client needs, okay, so that I can then come back and present. So what I do, and even to your point here, or to the point earlier, is Isaiah's walking around getting a needs assessment of the house. He can make these referrals, these recommendations. Maybe they don't do it right now, but it's something he has in his back pocket to reach back to him on. What I'm doing is I'm getting a needs, I'm making a list. What are the wants? What are the needs? What are the desires? And a lot of times what I'm doing is getting existing copies of bills, and I'm getting as much information as I can on that discovery meeting or that needs assessment so that I can put together an actual solution to then come back and present to the client.
Yeah, and I and another thing is, when you're assessing, again, I think the more you can observe and the more you're able to look at, rather than just looking at the windows. Let's look at these brick pavers on the side, rather than just looking at the windows. Let's look at the gutters, rather than just looking at the windows. Let's look at the siding, the vinyl siding on the house. The more you can observe, the more business you're going to bring in, whether or not you're doing the work or you're referring it out to someone else. And to JT, that's something that he is very professional in doing. He's always been, what would you say, very meticulous when it comes to observing what his clients need.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, he takes care of everyone that he does work with. So
absolutely. All right. Well, listen, we are about 22 minutes in. We hit the top three. We can write a few things in here so we have our notes from today, and then I think what we could do tomorrow is finish out with the bottom three, and then that way moving forward we'll break them out individually. So Isaiah's going to take a few notes here, and what I'd like to do now is listen. Life isn't always easy. It's not always doesn't always go your way, right? So sometimes we need a little bit of a pick-me-up. What we wanted to do now is share just a couple of minutes of a video. This is a guy that I've been watching for a long time. I really like him. I think he's very inspiring. I think he's got a good story, and wanted to share a little motivational video, and then give you our feedback on our initial impression. So I've seen this video. I don't think these guys have. We'll watch about 3 minutes of it, and then we'll get a little bit of feedback at the end. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
All right.
On a job, they paid me just enough to keep me from quitting, and I worked just hard enough to keep from getting fired. How many know people like that? Blink your eyes and you understand what I'm talking about. I was parked. I knew I could do more. But when my mama died, it took something out of me. When I went through a divorce, it took something out of me. When my best friend died, it took something out of me. I paused and Somebody said that life is like an onion. You have to peel it one layer at a time. And sometimes you cry. Life's going to happen to you when you have a dream. You're going to get slapped around. And don't take it personal. Don't ask, why did this have to happen to me? Why not you? Who would you suggest? You want to give us some names, some email addresses? And don't tell everybody. 80% don't care, and 20% glad it's you. It's called life. Suck it up and move on. Get over it. It happens to everybody. Here's the other thing: as you look at your goals and look at your dreams, when you're going through some stuff, repeat out to me, please. When things go wrong,
Things go wrong.
don't go with them.
Don't go with them.
Yes, write that down. When things go wrong, don't go with them. When you're working on a business deal, you're counting on some money. Someone said you will get the loan and it falls through. You have an event and the people that you thought would be there and support you, they don't come through. Or someone turns against you or you get ripped off. It's going to happen to you. Happened to me. Someone stole all my products, my database, over 180,000 names and addresses. It's not personal. It's going to happen to everybody. It does. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney had 7. He filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. It's called life. But I got a saying: when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. You've got the power in you to do that. You've got something special. You've got comeback power. Here's the other thing. Let us say together, it's possible.
It's possible.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's me.
It's
It's
me.
me.
Yes, write that down. It's me. Take ownership for your life. Nobody can live your dream for you but you. Nobody's going to take care of your business like you. Stop coming up with excuses. Don't give yourself permission to continue to live a small life. You can't fit a big dream into a small life. Give yourself permission to go for it, to test yourself, to challenge yourself, to live full. I like the saying, always strive to get on top in life, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. The reason you're here is because...
All right. I like that one. When things go wrong, don't go with them. I thought that was pretty damn sweet.
Yeah, I did too. Actually, I was gonna say the same one. Stuck up with me. The other one is like, if you fall in your back.
If you fall down, if you get knocked down,
Yeah,
at least land on your back.
yeah, and then you're looking up, so that means you can get up. So
Yeah. All right, Ma. Well, you
Well,
want to close
listen,
this out?
so I just want to say to anybody out there who sees this, the link is in the video. When you watch this, hey, like it, share it. We would appreciate it.
We want to hear what you got to say.
Absolutely. We want to hear what you have to say. Life is not easy, okay? And you will get knocked down, but you got to keep getting up, and you got to stay focused. Stay focused on your dreams. Don't lose hope. If you got to tune into a motivation video once in a while or every single day, do it. Keep moving forward. Other people have come before you and failed and still risen to the highest levels. So stay focused and have a great day.
yes, until next time, we'll see you then, guys.
All right, we appreciate
Have a great
it.
day.
See you soon. See
Keep
you tomorrow.
keep building those receipts as well.
That's right. Get those receipts.
Yes, sir.
Great job, you guys.